Now let's do this. Today on Motivation, we're joined by Mfunabong Eyang, an author and also communication strategist. And also today he's going to show us, he joins us to talk about why we must write a book, the importance of telling your own story. I'm very excited about this. Mfunabong, you are welcome.
Good morning, Mazino.
First of all, we know you're an author already, so you've written your story.
Yes.
A couple of stories.
Yes.
Why is it important that we write our stories? Why do you want us to... Who is my audience when I tell a story about little old humble me, is my question.
Exactly. Thank you very much, and good morning, viewers. So the first thing about the story is that it's self-awareness. To tell your story means you are self-aware. Going back to the colonialism, the first thing they stole from us was our story, our history, our culture. That's why someone said Mungo Park discovered River Niger. Someone documented it. And for the longest time, you believed it because somebody wrote it down.
Yeah.
So what we call history is somebody's version of events. Do you understand? Yeah. But we understand that for history, but we don't understand that for our lives. Do you understand? Nobody can tell Mazino's story better than Mazino. But people say, why should I write a book? That's where legacy comes in. Do you understand? When I look at the couch on the backdrop, I'm seeing books. Those people are not here, but they are sharing their ideas. There's thought leadership. Do you understand? There's legacy. Then you can talk about profit making. Do you understand? So it's very important because the most powerful thing in the world is a story. Oh. The most powerful person is a storyteller. So if you don't like somebody else's story, write your own. So it's very, very important that your stories are well documented.
That's very interesting. I've never looked at it that way.
Yeah.
Actually, especially when you talk about the fact that Mungo Park discovered, it was there already.
Ridiculous.
You know, so it's actually just a documentation that people will take to book and say, okay, this is how it happened. Yeah. So that's very important. But how does it impact me as the individual? What does it change in my psychology when I write my own story? And when you say write that story, do you actually mean write a book? So tell us exactly how it affects a person's mentality.
All right, thank you very much. I brought my book, copy of my book. Hope you
we've got it somewhere. Where's that?
I think it's somewhere on the background there.
Yeah, I'll get it.
So I brought my book, Hope It's Not a Strategy. And people say, what has this book done for me? Now, this book has opened more doors than prayers. Do you understand? Because in the new world, a book is your power CV. I don't have time to pitch my 10 to Mazino. When I go to conferences, I don't have to say, hey, I'm 10-5 things. No. I just give a copy of my book. So this shows thought leadership. It shows human agency. Do you understand? It shows I can coordinate my thought. One of the most powerful things is to bring out what is in your head. Like TV, I always use TV as an example. This is success. Somebody had this idea in their head, and they brought it to life. Now we are living in that person's reality. So one of the things a book does to you shows that you can produce. Because production is not necessarily tangible things, it's intangible things. When you can bring your thought from the abstract to reality, so it enhances your confidence. It positions you as a thought leader, as someone that knows it's an authority. Someone says, if you're an authority, you must author a book. That's what makes you an authority. Do you understand? You must show that, hey, I know what I'm doing. I want to double down on it. So it opens doors for you. It makes you able to democratize your presence. So
it's a question of the chicken or the egg situation, my next question now. So do I have to have something to write about before I can write a book, or do I have to start writing before I can actually have something to write about? I don't know if you get me.
I get your point. So what do I want to write that's not been written?
Exactly.
Do you understand?
What makes it so different? What makes my life so different?
Good question. I used to think like that until I wondered that why did God give us unique DNAs? If God didn't think I was so special, why do I have a unique DNA, right? I'll answer your question in two parts. The first thing, people say, what do I write about? That's why I come in. A coach, someone to coach you to bring out your ideas. I don't just coach, I help people go right. But coming to your question, there are 5 things, and I knew you were going to ask this question.
You predicted me. I don't like being predicted.
So there are 5 things you should write. You should write, can hinge your story on. Number 1 is your origin. And I wrote it in my book. It said where you're coming from, your antecedent, your nativity. Second one is your expertise, your competence, your ability, or your prowess. Third is innovation, the solution you bring to the table, what makes you different. Fourth is your purpose, your calling and its role in the grand scheme of things. Then the fifth one is influence, how far-reaching your message is. There's no way you go through these 5, you fall into one of the categories. Do you understand? Because there's something you are selling. You're not just selling yourself, you're selling your skill. Do you understand? You're selling your ideas. When you write, you're not selling a book. I'm selling ideas. I'm selling my intelligence. I'm telling the world, hey, this guy is so smart. Do you understand? If you want something like this, you're going to pay a premium for it. It enhances my brand value. I can't give you my book and you price me anyhow.
So that's a grand idea, but writing a book at the risk of being megalomaniac, however, I mean, what if there really isn't anything to write? Don't I fall into that risk of being seen as...
That's the thing. Writing a book mustn't even be about you.
Ah, there you go.
Do you understand? People think this book is not necessarily about me. Do you understand? It's about helping people solve a problem. But when I solve the problem, they remember who solved the problem for them. It mustn't necessarily be I'm the best thing since sliced bread. Oh, guys, I'm this and that. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But it's really about helping people solve a problem or giving people perspective. If all I did was tell you that Mungo Park did not discover River Niger, I have shifted the perspective. I didn't write about myself.
There you go.
But I've helped you understand something better. Yeah. And that may trigger, it might motivate somebody else to do something or do something down the road. But it doesn't necessarily be, oh, come, guys, I'm the best thing, or I'm campaigning. No, it mustn't be about me. It's about you. Once I get to solve a problem for you, you'll always come back to the source. Like, okay, I want more where that came from. So it mustn't necessarily be about me. That's the thing. It can be fiction. There are many genres of book. It mustn't necessarily be autobiography. I don't want to write my autobiography now. I want to do a lot of things so that when I write, it's rich. But for now, I can give you perspective. I can share my intelligence. I can give you one or two tips on something like that.
That's fantastic. Now that you put it that way, it makes even more sense. And I'm hoping that everybody out there actually takes a leaf, get the pun, from what he's
See what you did there. See what you did.
Yes. Oh, don't worry. I'll be introducing everybody to my new book, Sliced Bread, Best Thing. Change of perspective. In any case, Mfodobong, it's grand to have you here. We always look forward to having you on the show.
Thank you so much.